What's going on, guys? I'm Taylor.
I'm Joe.
Welcome back to another We Tell You show. This week we're talking about Nintendo, as I mentioned last week.
As I mentioned, Nintendo is a piece of crap company with a piece of crap leadership, and it's going down fast. And if you're investing, get the hell out. In those are lighter terms than usual.
So, about a month or two ago, Joe made a prediction that Nintendo would fail. Nintendo Switch would fail. The sales goal that they had was the first year they wanted to sell 10 million units. 10 million.
Yeah.
As of the end of July, early August, they were at a little under 5 million units sold. Now this is fiscal year. I don't know, fiscal year? It's fiscal year, I think they go by. So what's fiscal year? So that's not calendar year.
Usually it ends in October, depending.
Okay. So, as my voice cracks, their 10 million does not look to be going to be a hit as their goal. Good goal. 5 million is decent numbers, but slowing down. And it's slowing down a lot more this December during holiday season, during the big time where everybody wants to buy games and systems, because Nintendo Switch is going to be in very short demand. This is coming from the COO, Reggie Fils-Aimé of Nintendo of America.
So what does this tell you?
That I'm not sure how much it cost to make a Switch, or I'm not sure if the production or what happened. No disasters happened over there, but what's going on with the production? They're not being produced, even though the public wants them, and there are games coming out that are promising for the Switch, but they can't be played because there's no systems to play them on.
It's simple business. It's very simple. It tells you that the CEO does not believe in his product enough, nor does the company, to commit to the manufacturing of the product and the demand to meet the expectations of the consumer. It means that they don't believe in it themselves. So what it's telling you is that when iPhone is in short supply, iPhone is in short supply for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks? Maybe a month at the most, because they don't meet demand. But that doesn't mean that they're not putting their muscle behind it. Nintendo's telling you it's not going to be ready for the holiday season. That's bad anticipation, bad timing, bad leadership, bad everything all around. Now, this is the season of Joe being right about things, and it's me predicting John Jones' fate, what's going to happen to Conor McGregor, even the pay-per-view buys of Conor McGregor. If you look at our previous videos, I predicted they would come at exactly where they're coming in at. Okay? Mm-hmm. So again, I'm telling you, as why Nintendo Switch would be a failure, the management, the people behind Nintendo, it's not about Nintendo, it's not about the product, it's not about what it is, it's not about your love for the product or the games, it's about the management, it's about their belief in the product, and it is about old ideas in a new market and them not changing enough. They're changing in ways that have already been done. The Nintendo Switch is Wii U. It's the same exact thing.
Yes.
They just slapped a new label on it and said it was something different. This is Malibu Stacy with a hat. That's all it is. And what's happening is, as this is coming true, where are the people telling me that, Joe, you're wrong about this, and here's why? I'm not talking about my passion for the project. I like Nintendo. I'm a Nintendo fan. I like the games for Nintendo. I'm talking about the bad leadership and the bad decisions the company's making. And I'm telling you this as a pissed off consumer.
Yes.
I'm mad at them. I'm not telling you it because I'm an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy. I'm telling you as a Nintendo fan why I'm mad, because they are going to derail all of my projects like Sega destroyed their own company, and I'm relegated to crappy Sonic games on systems from Nintendos to phones that do not live up to the expectations of the traditional Sonic games.
Yes.
From my experience, Nintendo is destroying their company in a similar fashion to what Sega did in the late 90s, early 2000s. Am I wrong here?
Maybe. I don't, we...
Prove me wrong, Nintendo, is what I'm saying.
Again, we are not talking about Nintendo Switch. We did mention that, we do talk crap about the system and the possibility of its failure, but we also do understand that we do also actually want to succeed. We want to see succession there in the company and with the Switch. And when we have situations like this where the Switch is going to be in low supply, high demand, low supply in a holiday season, a season where Nintendo Switch's biggest games, I'm predicting to be, which would be not Breath of the Wild that came out and was a big success, but the Super Mario Odyssey, the Mario game, the flagship character of the Nintendo company. You think Nintendo, you think Mario. That's him. That's his game. When his game's going to come out in late in November, and there aren't any systems to play it on, that's going to affect sales of that game. For people who don't already buy it, who own it. And yes, you can say, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild and Mario vs. Rabbids came out, and it has a big seller, and ARM was a big seller. Those are all big sellers because there's no other game to play right now on that system. If you have
everything.
So if you have a system, those are going to be big sellers because that's the only thing you play. What else are you going to play? You can't buy a system and have games come out and say, oh, I'll pass on that. You're kind of almost forced to play those games and forced to get those sales numbers up. Now, sales numbers would be big for Super Mario Odyssey, but they'd be even better if the system was out and available. They put so much focus on Nintendo and its Classic and the SNES Classic and selling that out, and oh yeah, great success. But where is all that for the Switch? The Switch, the main console right now, everybody talks about it being a home console, but now I'm hearing more and more people call it a portable console. And
what did I say when it first came out? I said it's confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing what it is. We don't know what it is. And as much as you tell me what it is, the regular consumer has to know what it is.
Yes, and sadly, I on my other gaming website, I do a list of things coming out on Fridays, movies, games, what have you, and I've seen lately that the Nintendo Switch list of games coming out is growing, while the 3DS list of games is shrinking. So they're putting a lot of games out for the Switch, and not so many for the 3DS. Here and there they'll have one big one, but it's mostly a 3DS system.
And then Nintendo, the whole problem that we said in the earlier episodes,
yes,
when I was examining this, was that the top-selling item for Nintendo is their portable console. So what they're doing is they are cutting the sales of their portable console to add sales to their home console,
which portable,
in a sense is another portable console. The business plan doesn't make any sense. It's on its face. It's misguided. They're out of touch. They don't know what they're thinking. It's the same thing that was so obvious to me when we were doing the Social Ferocity podcast, when I told Taylor that the PlayStation 4 was going to outsell the Xbox. Why? They were out of touch with the consumer. They were saying nobody wants physical games anymore. Everyone is going to want to download their games. Yeah, they're wrong. That's not what the consumer was demanding. And I told Taylor when we were sitting there that it's going to cost them because at the holiday season, a month before everyone has to make their decisions, they don't know if Xbox is going to have games you can physically buy or only be able to download.
Yeah.
And if you're cutting it that close to a holiday season when you need to make a decision and decide what console you're going to have for the next 4 years. This isn't a one-time decision. This is a 4-year decision. Mm-hmm. The commitment, your parent that's buying it, family member that's buying it, they're not buying you another one next year. They're buying you this one, and guess what? Next year, they're buying you games for this one. That's what they're doing. They're making a decision right now. So just like Xbox, if we didn't walk in confidently knowing what the future was going to be, we switched to PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And so did everyone else. The same decision, history was repeating itself with Nintendo. People are walking in deciding whether or not they are going to have a Switch, they're going to have a 3DS or a Nintendo DS, or they're going to have an Xbox or a PlayStation. And whichever one the company is committing to, the public is going to commit to that. Yes. And Nintendo's not committing to it right now. They're not. They're not committing to anything. It looks like they're not committing to anything. They're not committing to the portable console. They're not committing to their Switch. Because they're not going to have units out for the Switch, and they're not going to have games out for the portable console. They're cutting off two avenues of growth potential. It's ridiculous. It's just, what is going on at this company?
I don't know. And they came out with a new system, portable system that's not 3D. It's the Nintendo 2DS, which is the 3DS except just 2D. That's all it is. So it's a Game Boy. That's all it is. So granted, your games plays the same games as a 3DS except not except they're not 3D.
I have a bottle of aspirin for Nintendo Talks only, just ready for this stuff. Because everyone was telling me how wrong it was. I wasn't arguing the emotion. I was arguing the leadership and where we're going with it. If I want a future in gaming on this console and I want the characters to remain in their untapped best forms, I want Nintendo to succeed.
Yes.
Simple. I'm so mad. I don't know
No. And my thing was, granted, I'm a big Zelda fan. I love Legend of Zelda. All the games are amazing. But I said, if I get a Switch, it's going to be during what I feel is the system seller, Super Mario Odyssey, in November. And now, my prediction can't be true or my want can't be true. I had $600 to spend in Amazon. I chose an Xbox One X. When they came out, I got the Project Scorpio edition, new one coming out. I'll get it.
He's buying his own system again over a new system. I mean,
yes.
How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
He's bought his own system again rather than buy the Nintendo. And this is a hardcore Nintendo fan.
Yes, and because there wasn't any to buy, and now that I see it, there wasn't even any to buy. Later on,
and literally that money was burning a hole in his Amazon account.
Yes,
like it was on fire. He had to spend that money.
I couldn't spend it fast enough.
Yeah,
and it sucks because I really actually considered buying a Switch over the Xbox One X. I wanted to buy it, but I'm like, what am I going to play? Yes, Odyssey doesn't come out in November. That's going to be cool, but I can't buy it. It says out of stock. So am I going to wait until it gets in stock? And maybe that's later on when, December, January, they'll get more in stock. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? So I'm going to be stuck with this money. I could have possibly bought the Xbox One X, which I did, or wait for the Switch. So I bought the Xbox One X because it was easier for me, and it's something I wanted, something I'm familiar with. I'll stay within the Xbox family, and I know it's available. It just sucks that the people who may have the same mentality as me, who wanted to buy the Switch when Odyssey comes out in November, are now have to wait.
I don't have the same mentality as you, but I have the mentality of I want to see if the system I'm buying is going to be worth the money. So I want to see the games that are coming out, what they've invested in it, if everyone else is buying it, if my friends have it, and I can play it with them and I can enjoy it with them. So I want to see like a system come out for a year, have a bunch of games on it, and then when I decide to buy it like a year or two after, which is where the steady sales come from, the first sales are always the strongest of a new system, and then it has to slowly peter in, little by little by little, right? I'm those guys where the sales slowly come in, right? So if I look at Nintendo Switch and I say, hey, it doesn't have the games, my friends aren't buying it, no one has it, I'll wait for the next one. And that's why the sales don't come in. Same thing happened to Wii U and every other system in between, because the people that are sustaining the growth and the reinvestment in these products in Nintendo are me and Taylor. Those are the people that are putting the money back in. And everyone else out there. Like I said to people before, where they said, give Nintendo Switch a chance. Did you give it a chance? Did you put your money out there? No, you didn't. You're just yelling about give it a chance. And then a year later, you're going to go, oh, I didn't end up buying it anyway. So what are you doing? Like,
because you couldn't buy it because there was no stock.
Yeah, there's no stock and there's no reason to buy it. So,
I mean, and how can you, Joe, as a consumer, say, I want to see how the system is, but you can never play it?
I can't play it. I can't even play any games for it. There's
no.
This is just another classic misstep. I'm seeing it's not about the games. It's not about your love or passion for the system. This is just basic business missteps. Businesses failing to capitalize on their market, on their product, everything. It's just this leadership has been down. The Wii, to me, the original Wii was a fluke. It was a fluke for the company. It should not have happened. At a time when everyone was competing for the biggest and the best, Nintendo chose its own direction, and it hit. It hit for some reason. It hit, and people liked it. But all the things that made the Wii great, they just sat on their lead. They sat on their lead and said, oh, the Wii's great. We don't have to try. See, we don't have to make great games and a great system. We'll just make something that old people can play with. And people will like that forever. Problem is, it was a gimmick. It was a one-time gimmick, and the gimmick isn't happening again.
Yeah.
The gimmick is over. You went to the gimmick, you succeeded one time, so you went for another gimmick, and you failed, and you failed. So go back to what made Nintendo great, which are a great experience with great games. How hard is it, people?
We'll see one day when we get a Switch. But I promise that if a Switch is available, I will purchase it. I want to see how it is. After Nintendo Mario Odyssey comes out in November, and that's my system seller. That's what I believe is the system seller for that system. Not Monster Hunter, not Breath of the Wild, because you can't call Breath of the Wild a system seller when it was available launch day and pretty much the only game available on the day of the launch of the system. That's not fair. Yeah, it's you're skewing the numbers there because, like I said, at the time when you buy a Switch, what are you going to buy? Oh, all available is Breath of the Wild. So Link, yeah, granted, Zelda's a great game, but you're skewing the numbers there because only thing available was that. Now
it's funny. Used Switches have dropped. They're like $196. Like they dropped like a used Switch. Even they're not available. They're like not even a good price.
Now, yes. Now some are available to buy Switches, but only in bundle packs from like GameStop and Walmart, and those knock up the price a couple $100 more. So, in order to buy a Switch, if you really want one, but you have to buy it with a bunch of crap you don't want, you're kind of forced to pay a lot more than what the MSRP is for that Switch.
Yeah, the ones that are available are marked up significantly.
Yeah, so it's more like you're forced into that corner where you gotta say no and then feel bad because you're not supporting the system, the company you love as a gamer, where you have to say yes and say okay, well because I love the system. I'll pay the extra money. The extra money I was going to use to buy a game now is going to be used to buy a system, and then maybe later on when I get more money, I can buy a game, and I'll just be hanging out and I'll try to play them digital. Maybe whatever. You'll find some free game or some free demo to play until you can actually afford a game, which sucks for a gamer. It's hard to have a piece of hardware and not have the software to enjoy it, or vice versa too. And for me too. I'm a hypocrite as well. I'll say that I bought the Xbox One X, and it's granted it's a 4K system, and I don't have a 4K TV yet because right now they're coming down in price, but they aren't enough to say okay, well I can get a 4K TV and be okay with it. That's just it. I didn't future-proof myself to get a 4K TV. Do you have a 4K TV, Joe?
No. No.
Yeah, no one right now. 4K TVs.
Sorry, just looking up sales numbers, just saying all this stuff.
No worries. No. So right now, 4K TVs are on their way into many homes as they go. Like I said, they go down in price. After the first year, after CES comes through in January, you'll get a lot more new TVs coming out. The new batch will come in of newer, better, best, and then you'll get the current 4K TVs go down in price, and slowly but surely, just like the HD TVs, the LCDs, they'll get you get one for $300 for a nice big TV.
Yeah,
they'll come at that price, and then yes, you can fully enjoy my Xbox One X with 4K. Now it doesn't really matter. I mean, like it's hard for me to tell, just like with people who can't tell 1080p and 720p. It's splitting hairs as far as trying to see the difference. Really, it's all HD. It's clear. It's HD. It's good for me. I'll still play my Xbox One X on my current 1080p TV, which will still work. It'll just look better in 4K accordingly. But yes, I do like Xbox One X because there's actually going to be games coming out for it, and they already have 30 plus games that I currently already have. They will get free patches to be 4K when I put the game in that I currently own. So I can use my same games for my Xbox One on my Xbox One X, and those 30 plus games that I have will automatically get a patch to be upgraded in graphics for it to go. So it's more, and for free too. No DLC to download. It's free upgrade, free patch, and so that's my current right now. So that's hypocritical, yes.
So there you go. Terrible system. Send us a free one so we can re-examine our judgment.
You probably can't because you don't have any in stock.
Exactly. We'll let you know. We'll review it on another show.
All right. On that note, next week we'll be back when I will be 1 year older.
Should I buy one just to destroy it? Just for our fans out there?
If you can find one.
I'll find one.
Murder.
I'll find a used one on Amazon and destroy it.
They're going to murder you if you find one.
Or you know what I'll do? is we'll do like a contest later for Christmas, whatever. And what we'll do is we'll get them a Switch, and they have to give us 5 good reasons why we shouldn't destroy it, and they can get it.
In person.
Yeah.
Big guest on the show.
We're going to do some giveaways and contests soon, people.
Yes.
You
And
guys
no,
know.
we aren't sponsored, nor do we get much money or any money for this. So
Nor do we care
Yeah.
at all. We can
We're
do whatever
just
we want.
throwing money around like nothing.
Yeah. We're not owned by anyone. We're independently wealthy. We can do our own show and spit out this nonsense as much as we want.
Like Candy in Joe's drawer, we're having overabundance of.
Overabundance of mini donuts of, what is it called? Freshly's mini donuts. And we
Freshly's.
don't need any of this stuff.
Who needs name brand?
Off the
donuts?
charts over here, people.
Off chart, off topic. Off brand. On that note, I'll see you next week. See you later.